Hey there, I'm Dr. Megan Monday, and today I want to talk to you about reclaiming intimacy and enjoying sex after abuse. That can be a really tall order. Unfortunately, it seems like so many people have had abuse. I can tell you over the past 2 decades as a trauma therapist, it seems like everybody has had some kind of traumatic experience. I know that the numbers may not support that, but I think it is very common. And unfortunately, the worst part about that is that it can rob you of happiness and joy and intimacy. No longer. Okay. I'm here to help you with that right away. So, I want to ask you, have past traumas left you feeling disconnected from intimacy? Maybe you don't want to get naked. Maybe you've got that not so fresh feeling. Well, you're not alone. Often we can have flashbacks, trauma triggers, and let's just face it, really getting intimate with someone is a vulnerable and sometimes uncomfortable situation. But I want to let you know you are not alone. In this video, we are diving into EFT and how it can help you break free from emotional barriers holding you back from enjoying a fulfilling sex life. The problem is, after experiencing abuse, many survivors struggle with feeling safe. They also often feel guilt, shame, anxiety around sex. These emotions can create a significant barrier to being in the moment, to connecting with your partner, to feeling safe enough to feel joy and pleasure and satisfaction and fulfillment. The fear of vulnerability and the lingering effects of trauma often make it difficult to reconnect with your body and your partner. But I have a solution, which is obviously highly recommend trauma therapy. That's been my life's work for the past couple of decades. And it can be super helpful for reclaiming your pleasure, reclaiming your safety, reclaiming everything that's important to you. Okay, highly recommend. Also want to say EMDR. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to get you started with a little emotional freedom technique. So, emotional freedom technique offers a powerful way to gently release these emotional blocks. Based on acupressure, it can really help, let's say, like unclog the system. By tapping on specific meridian points, EFT helps to process unresolved trauma, neutralize the trigger, reduce anxiety, and foster a sense of safety in your body. And who doesn't want that? It can even get you to the point of self-love and self-acceptance. Check out my other videos, FYI. This process can help you rebuild a healthy relationship with sex and intimacy. And one of the things I often work with my trauma survivors with is really taking the power back. We don't want to give the perpetrator the power to take pleasure away from us permanently. So this process today, especially when practiced over and over again, can help you rebuild a healthy relationship with sex and intimacy, allowing you to enjoy these experiences fully. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools that you need in your journey towards reclaiming your pleasure. Hopefully you'll feel more empowered to embrace intimacy and hopefully more motivation. And you know what I'm all about, pleasure. It is possible to enjoy sex after trauma. Although I'm going to be real with y'all, it can be very challenging. But this little practice can help you take back your power. And it can be the key to unlocking a new chapter of healing and fulfillment in your life. Sound good? Let's get into it. A quick side note, I am a therapist, but I'm not your therapist. This is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only. All right, step one of the emotional freedom technique is setting the intention. I'll give you the cheat code here. It's basically whatever you're struggling with, and then I deeply love and accept myself. If you already know the drill, we'll jump right in. If you're an EFT newbie, just want to say, follow along, do what I do. I'll totally lead you through the experience. But before we get started, let's just arrive in our bodies, okay? If you are a trauma survivor, just know that a lot of times we're not really like in our bodies, right? We might feel a little dissociated, or we might feel a little triggered or scattered or whatever. So taking a deep breath can be super helpful just to ground in. And wherever you put your focus on is where your energy goes. So if you focus on being in our body, it's as simple as that. So before we begin tapping, let's just take a moment to ground ourselves. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and focus on your intention for the session. Whether it's to release fear, reconnect with your body, or simply feel safer in an intimate situation, let's hold that intention as we move forward. Next, we're going to do the setup statement. We're going to start with a karate chop, which is just like what it sounds. We're going to tap the karate chop point, which is the side of the hand right here. Okay. And then we're going to do the even though, and then I deeply love and accept myself. Okay. So even though I feel fear and discomfort when it comes to intimacy because of my past, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I carry the pain and trauma from the past abuse, I choose to honor where I am and release what no longer serves me. Even though enjoying sex feels difficult for me right now, I'm open to healing and reclaiming my pleasure. So this is the karate chop. We always start with a few opening statements, and then we go through the tapping sequences, which are different points that can be really helpful for eliminating shame, reducing guilt, releasing negative emotion. So just follow along with me. Let's start at the eyebrow. This fear I feel when it comes to intimacy, the memories and the pain that hold me back. I feel disconnected from my body. It's hard to feel safe in intimate situations. I want to reclaim my right to pleasure, but there's still so much fear and discomfort. I feel so vulnerable when it comes to intimacy, but I'm ready to heal and reconnect with my body. Awesome job. Okay, now we're going to go a little bit deeper, and we'll start with the same sequence. Eyebrows. I acknowledge the pain and trauma that I've been through. Side eye. It's okay to feel fear, but it doesn't define me. Under the eye, I'm stronger than my past experiences. Under the nose, I choose to release the grip of trauma on my body. I deserve to experience intimacy and connection. Chin. Collarbone. I allow myself to open to pleasure one step at a time. Under the arm, I am safe in my body now. Top of the head, I am reclaiming my right to enjoy sex and lean into pleasure and intimacy. Now we're going to reaffirm positive beliefs. You're doing great. Let's start with the eyebrows. I choose to feel safe in my body. Side eye. I am worthy of love and pleasure. Under the eye, I'm open to experiencing joy and connection. Under the nose, I'm letting go of what no longer serves me. Chin. I'm in control of my body and my pleasure. Collarbone. I'm healing, and it's okay to take it slow. Under the arm, I trust myself to move forward with love. Oh, I like that one a lot. Top of the head, I'm reclaiming my intimacy and enjoying sex again. Yay! Now let's close the session. Let's place your hands over your heart This brings a beautiful flood of oxytocin that feels so good. It's the bonding love hormone. Take a big deep breath in and out. As you exhale, imagine releasing any remaining tension or fear. Know that healing is a journey and you're taking powerful steps to reclaiming your body, your pleasure, and your intimacy. You are in control of this process and there's no outcome. It's all about the journey and just do what feels good to you. Okay, we want to gently approach the anxiety because a lot of times with anxiety, we avoid. And so gently approaching helps us face the fear so that we can neutralize it. Just a couple tips, just as I mentioned, highly recommend therapy and even DBT can be very helpful with dealing with sexual trauma. Also, in the context of romantic relationships, just want to give you what I usually tell my clients, which is let them know if you have a history of past trauma. Obviously, in the context of a committed, loving, safe relationship, we want them to be supportive and respectful, right? But let them know about your history. You don't necessarily need to tell them everything, but just know that you have survived trauma and that you may have a moment where you freeze or you have a trigger, and just let them know, like, hey, I need to take a break or have a safe word. That can be really important. Often we don't communicate during sex, but it's so important. And really, that's how we get consent. So super, super important. And then DBT, distress tolerance skills, can be great if you are in the midst of a crisis. So I think the healing journey is a very individual one. Sometimes it can feel like it's never going to heal. And yet one day I think you wake up and you're like, look how far I've come. I'm not the same person that I used to be. So as I tell my clients, again, this is not therapy, but just edutainment purposes. Take it slow, do what feels good, and then celebrate yourself afterwards if you do the big scary thing. And make sure that you feel comfortable with whatever you're doing. And just know that you can always stop at any moment if it becomes too much. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this was helpful. Feel free to come back to this exercise as many times as you need. The more you do it, the stronger the results, the stronger the impact. And thank you so much for watching. Check out my other EFT videos or Healing Trauma with Pleasure. Have a great day.